had an intro, that would be hilarious. Let's get ready to party, baby. Bringing it. Bring it. Hello, everyone. Welcome on Friday. Fridays can be weird. Not a lot of people can join us. Something really embarrassing happened to him. And I actually made a little short video about it that I'm going to show you tomorrow. So we were just at my parents' and yeah, happy birthday to Yorkie Mom if she's in here. Of course, I've already talked to her today, but Pam, happy birthday to you. I don't know if she would be here on her birthday. She might be out to dinner with, well, maybe she wouldn't because he's still recovering, but maybe she's celebrating. Tito, the Friero Bandito, that's hilarious. Welcome in. Punky, so guys, long story short, I'm not walking in the same place at my parents' that I was because my parents have two giant polar bears, also known as Great Pyrenees. They're not the friendliest. And one of them tried to kind of bite at Bo the other day. They don't like Bo at all. They don't mind Gertie, but they don't like Bo. So I was like, I'm going to start walking in a different part of the farm. It's a huge farm. So I was like, we're going to drive to a different part. Yes, Diane. And I feel sorry for you. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry it happened. So, thank you, Sunshine. So we're at the bottom of the hill. We walk at the top of the hill. We're at the bottom of the hill. And there's two big ponds at the bottom of the hill. And he was close to a pond, and I thought he knew better. And I called him to come get in the car because we had to leave. And he came running in the wrong direction and dove into the pond. It was, to be fair, it wasn't directly in front of him. He didn't know. It was like almost like a drop off. I know. He wants to hold hands. He fell, like literally went, like he was like, I'm coming. And he went thunk, like fell down deep into this pond. And of course, poodles are supposed to be able to swim, but I've never seen him swim in the actually his birthday's in September. He'll be 5 years. And so I started running, and it takes a lot for an overweight gal such as myself in this kind of heat to run. And I took off running. I was like, oh my God. Like I went to go, of course I'm not going to dive into the pond, but I thought if I have to pull him out, I will. Well, he got himself out, but he was soaking wet. And I feel so sorry for him. And you could tell Gertie and I were laughing at him. And he's embarrassed. And I think he's still in shock. And I am too. And he stinks. Luckily, he has a grooming appointment next week. So I have bones and treats in my pocket because I gave him extra treats when I got home. And I thought I'm going to give him more because I feel sorry for him. That's what I do sometimes. And he's been wanting these. Bojangies, sit. Oh, he's a good person, though. He's a great guy. Yeah, he got me to run again. And both kids are really great kids. And they say, we don't give a holy damn. Just give us the treat. Stop making a mockery of us on YouTube. There's yours, Funky. See you later. There you go. Sorry that happened. Yeah, that was sad. That was really depressing. I made a short, oh, okay. Pam, happy birthday to you. I mean it, girl. I love you. We love, love, love Pam. I made a short video about it. I have something in my eye. Why isn't the volume working? Well, that pisses me off. This is a new phone. I don't like when stuff like this doesn't work.
Poor Bo.
Okay.
Poor Bo. You're embarrassed. You're a little bit embarrassed. And I don't blame you. He's all wet.
I'm trying to explain how it happened.
He accidentally just ran in. Punky, come here. Punky, laughing at your brother about it. So I'm on the other side of this fence calling him. And he's over there where my finger is. And he has to go all the way around here to get to me here. And I thought he knew that. But instead, he came running this way. And he went right where my finger is there. And I didn't know the pond was there. And he fell in, and I had to go get him, and him's all wet. And I think he's a little bit embarrassed, and I think somebody's laughing at him.
She was laughing. I don't have any more. That was all I had in my pocket. You got 2 when I got home, and that's an unusual amount for you. And I'm sorry it happened. That's what today's stream is about, being a terrible mother. And I apologize greatly. I'm so sorry. I feel terrible. You're still all wet, Bobo, but he's a great guy. And he's smiley anyway, and he's positive. And he says, I'm going to stay positive because you're going to get my hairs cut next week and we'll get the stink off of me. Oh, I'm sorry. He says, I didn't go to Harvard for this. That's sad. It's a sad situation. Bo made his choice, and there are consequences for being so happy-go-lucky. Yeah, that's cute. That's true. He is a happy-go-lucky fella. He's just why don't you eat your treaty instead of showing it off to your brother? I don't have any more. He's such a snuffleupagus. But I do want to test that out because poodles are, his hands, his paws are so webbed, you would not believe it. Someone told me that the poodles have extremely webbed paws because they're really good swimmers. And I tested that one day, and he is like webbed up at the toes. And it's pretty cool, actually. And my parents have 2 ponds when you come into their driveway. And that was kind of the dirtier one. I feel like that one has more like buildup. But the other one is like not so bad. Jen Finberg. So, wowie, girl. It's not funny. And you've got to stop laughing at him. It's not funny. But you are really cute, aren't you? She says, I'm just laughing because he's not your real son. He's adopted and I'm not. That's actually not the way the Lord said it. But I want to take him sometime to that pond and test that out. I've been wanting to do it all summer, but I haven't. So I need to do it. They just cut the grass where the ponds are so I can walk over there. They made hay bales out of it. Well, I heard that. Yes, and you are tiny. Everybody knows you're the favorite. She says, stop trying to tell everybody how cute he is, because actually I'm cuter and I'm better than everyone here. Actually, that's not how the Lord intended. And she says, yes, it is. I can judge whoever the hell I want to. Okay. Hey, Puka Vista, whenever I speak for Gertie like this, like a ventriloquist, I feel like that lamb chop lady, and then it starts to get quickly uncomfortable and awkward for all. But you are tawny, and there is no mistaking it. Everybody knows. Really extra. Oh, dainty is all get out. See you later. I had 3 standard poodles. None of them could swim. I had to put jackets on them. Oh, sweet Lord. That's not good. That's shocking. Although, he's almost 5, Linda, and he's never swam. So he may not be able to. Maybe it's not going to be a natural thing. Maybe he won't love jumping into a pond like a lab. I don't know, but I've wanted to test that out. Hey, Heather Rhodes. So welcome in, everyone. Sorry I didn't do a roll call. Say hi now. Hey, Tony P. I know, Tony P. It's a lot. It's a heck of a lot. Hey, Abdazzle. Oh, my God, that's cute, Abdazzle. So, yeah, that's a bummer. Oh, hold on. I got to plug in my phone again. I think my period's coming. So that was really cute and yet kind of sad and shocking. It really did freak me out. I took off running. I thought, oh my God, what if he's like fell into a hole and he can't get out? I thought, I couldn't see over all that brush. And I thought, what if he can't get out? I'm going to have to go pull him out. Hey, Erica. Hey, Case Face. Thank you. My hair is really dirty and I intended to wash it today, but it didn't happen. Thank you, Jackie. Yeah, Sunshine, how do you not? I mean, how could you not be crazy about animals is what I want to know. And if you're not, what's going on there? I got 5 biopsies. Yeah, I remember that on your cervix. Well, pathology came back. Not good. Going into surgery soon. Thank you for inspiring me to get checked. Okay, Bree, prayers and non-prayers for you, babe. Please, everyone, just well wishes and prayers for Bree. I'm glad that you got checked, but I'm sorry that it wasn't the news that you were hoping for. But I also hope that the surgery just takes care of whatever it is. Thank you, Lisa. Hey, Yawn. Hey, Ghostwriter. King's Kid, I bet. Hey, Alicia Johnson. Hey, Liz Tricks. Oh, Liz Trick, so true. Hey, D. Hey, Amy Knight. Yeah, guys, if you don't mind, just thoughts, well wishes, and prayers for Bree Bree. I'm really happy she got checked, but I hate that news. Hey, Kathy Brown. Speaking of not the best news, I'll just get this off now. Hey, Susie CJ. Hey, Lady O. Um, we will not be doing a Colton Crims tonight. I just found this out hour and a half, maybe 2 hours ago. Tommy had to go get some tests done this morning on his heart. He got a new cardiologist and he went to get some tests done. And they went over the old tests from when he was in the hospital. And he's having a procedure done tomorrow morning that needs to be done. It's not, hey, Ginny Jin. I don't want anyone to think it's like life or death or anything like that. But he did say it needs to be done fairly urgently. It should be done. And he said, I already am doing 3 of them tomorrow morning. So I'd like to add you to my list of procedures. I know what the procedure is, but I'm not going to share it because he asked me not to because he's pretty freaked out about it. And he said, I don't want to hear every single person's horror story. Hey, Bohemian Luciferian Witch. Hey, Holly. Hey, Debbie Gonzalez. Tennessee Girl. Hey, Meredith. Yeah, so it's something that has been a long time coming. He's needed to do it for a while, and I understand. Hey, Sarah from Cali, it's good to see you. Bless Gloria, welcome in. He hopefully will be good. He has to spend the night, I think, tomorrow night in the hospital. But I get it. Here's the thing. Everybody gives you their horror story on stuff like that, and not even just heart stuff that's more major. I remember when I've said this, but when I was pregnant, oh my God, every single person came out of the woodwork to tell me their terrible pregnancy stories. It was never anything good. It was always like, get ready to be up all night, get ready to have heartburn, get ready to pee yourself, get ready to not sleep, get ready to be in pain. Oh, I was in labor for 36 hours. Like nobody ever wanted to be like, well wishes. Okay. Sunshine, that is very kind of you to say. Hey, Gemini girl. Hey, MLG gamer. So anyway, he's hopefully Lenora Gray. I'm not going to say. He doesn't want me to say. So hey, Daft Woman. I'm going to respect Tommy's wishes on that, but he's freaked out about it. Hey, Cindy Swizz. And I will let him talk about it on his channel tonight. But no, Tito. But I don't have fear about this like he does. I'm glad he's doing it. There's 2 surgeries going forward that Tommy inevitably has to have on his heart. And this one is going to hold him over until the next one. So hopefully, if you do pray, please, pray. And if you don't pray, just send healing vibes and well wishes. I think it will be okay. I trust the medical team there. They did a really good job with the last procedure that he had. That's a great advice. Megan Roberts, I had pretty good labors and always say to women, just relax and listen to your body and you'll probably go well. Yeah. Hey, Penny Rogers. Okay, Penny, prayers for you, my friend. And I'm so sorry, but I'm glad that you ladies, I hate having a pap smear. I don't mind doing mammograms so much. That doesn't seem to be a big deal to me because it's quick and I have small boobs. But I do think we should do it. I say that, but I don't want to have a colonoscopy when I turn whatever 50 or however old. I don't know that I will. We'll see. I'm weird about it and I don't want to do it. But I probably will when I reach that age because I don't want to be a hypocrite about what I just said. Linda Gillum, he's going to be fine, guys. It's not super life and death, but it is a procedure. And of course, we're not the ones going under for the procedure. He is. So he's nervous about it. He's uncomfortable. And, I get that. I get that on a deep level. I'm not a candidate for medical stuff. I hate medical stuff and doctors and all of that. We'll see, Abdazzle. Probably going to be 50 for me, but we'll see. That's true too, Case Face. Thank you. Thank you, Jen. Kingsgate, I am too. I loved being pregnant. I really enjoyed my pregnancy, and I really, really, really noticed how many people loved sharing their horror stories about it. So I get where he's coming from that. I understand that he doesn't want a bunch of people emailing him and putting in the chat how, their dad died of this or their grandpa's procedure went horribly. Yeah, like he doesn't need that right now and he's already nervous. So thank you for praying for him. Hey, Pete Taylor, we're not going to do a Colts and Crims tonight. He's going to probably do his show. I would get. Is my retina detaching or did a light just go out? My peripheral's good. What's happening? Did I just see a flash of light? Well, someone will answer me. Exactly, Tito. Hey, Pete Taylor. So he'll probably do, okay, Buffy saw it. Okay, good. Hey, Happy Thoughts. Thank you, Joanne. Okay, Bohemian Lucifer. So okay, good. I'm a very high risk candidate for detached retina because how poor my vision used to be prior to surgery. So I always worry about that. And it's, I don't know if it's a hereditary thing, honestly, even working for ophthalmologists for so long, but I've got a lot of retinal detachments in my family and I'm a high risk candidate for retina detachment. So I'm like, please don't ever let that happen to me. Anyway, what was I saying? So he'll do a show tonight and then, we won't do a Colts and Crims. Obviously, tomorrow night he'll be in the hospital. So, yeah, Renee B, exactly. No, it wasn't lightning, P. Taylor. I think it was this overhead thing. There's 4 with the ceiling fan. There's 4 bulbs, and now there's only 3 that are working. I think one of them just went out. So anyway, that's the announcement with Tommy. He's having a procedure tomorrow, Happy Thoughts. So we're not going to do a show tonight. And I'm guessing he probably won't be doing any shows over the weekend. Hey, OG Gaslit, but honestly, I don't know. I just found this out, and he's been talking with his family about it and letting everybody know. So I got to catch up with him too on what's going on, and I just know it's tomorrow morning. So I actually had a little bit of a topic today. It's, hey, Tracy, thank you so much. And Tracy, thank you for the cards that you send to me. It's always so kind. Ghost Rider. Hey, Heather. It hasn't been a while. Good for you, babe. I'm happy to see you. So I actually did have a topic tonight, and it's not the happiest one. I do want to do a God stream in the next few days. Also, I have not forgotten about that. We just need to coordinate it. And I like to announce when we're going to do it so that people are prepared to not come if they don't want to be a part of that stream. I understand it's not a common stream. We don't do it all the time, but I just like to do one every once in a while. Hey, Abigail. Yeah, there you go, Abigail. Thank you for understanding. I want to discuss a topic that we kind of talked about like a week ago, and it's been on my mind and it's kind of been weighing on me. Thank you, King's Kid. And thank you, Kathy Burkhart. I don't know exactly what I want to say or how I want to go into it. Hey, just Marla, but the reason I want to have this conversation, Huxley is not here right now. He's with my parents actually right now. Congratulations, Dee. Hey, Susan Trigg. Huxley and I were talking today after school, and oh my God, that's horrible. Tracy had a horrible fall. 2 broken ribs. Oh my God. Yeah. Prayers, of course. Ask for prayers and you shall receive, my friend. Please. Yeah. All of us, if you don't mind, or non-prayers if you don't pray. Tracy, I'm so sorry that happened. Hey, Willow Tree. Thank you. Hey, Sandy Kovacs. Huxley and I were talking after school. I actually was thinking Sunday, Abigail. And hey, Alabama Rose. I don't know how I want to address this. Hey, Jennifer Minton. I want to ask you all something as mothers. And I realize some of you are going to go, well, I'm not a mom. Well, not to me. A lot of you are moms. I said this about, I covered this on Mother's Day, but you may not have biological children, but as a woman, Bye, Penny. As a woman, I feel as though you've mothered something, right? Like you've been maternal to something, a situation. Hey, Marie Marion. Hey, Kim is blue. Aren't those great tomatoes? I fried those up in a pan, fried green tomatoes. My mom has a good tomato garden this year. Um, I just know a lot of you who don't have kids, right? A lot of you don't have kids, actually. But I consider you very, very maternal. Doesn't mean you're not a mother, right? You might have pets that you mother. You might have nieces, nephews, right? I don't know. I look at being a mother as much larger than carrying a child. I just do because I think that our maternal instincts are our maternal instincts. And that doesn't mean just because you don't have kids, you're not a mom. You've probably mothered something, if I had to guess. Wow, Tito. And I was talking to Huxley about this, and it, of course, made me feel guilty. And this is why I say, and I think this is a really touchy topic. I think it's can be a sensitive topic, right? But I have said this many times, and I'm working on it, okay? But I do not feel very maternal. I do not feel like I was a very good mother. I had the intentions of being a good mother. I wanted my son. I planned to have my son. Um, yeah, Abigail, for sure. I absolutely had all the ideas in my head of being a mom and what kind of mom, and I had a plan and all of those things in place. And I will say, I'm not trying to blame it on other people, but Scientology really ruined that for me, really deeply destroyed that for me in every single way, and also destroyed his childhood, if I'm being totally honest. Like my chance at motherhood was taken away from me, but his childhood also was not what I would have wanted it to be. And that's my childhood wasn't either because I was born into Scientology. Oh, I did not know that. Thank you for telling me. So, I still have I need a drink. Hey, Miss Weedy Poo, 2 days in a row. I still have deep, deep thoughts and regrets, and I tend to pack them down and suppress them, which is actually kind of the opposite style of me. Usually I want to get stuff out. This is a tough subject for me. It's a very sensitive subject for me. And ever since I read that sentence last week, this is not something I came up with. It's not original to me, but it really, really hit me hard. And it said, there is nothing wrong with you. You are just unmothered. And it hit me pretty hard. And it would probably hit a lot of people hard, right? And some people are unfathered, right? Like Huxley. But thank you, Tito. But yeah, Kim. And I know that, but it's still hard for me to do that. Hey, Linda Perales. And so I don't know how much that would apply to you guys, to each and every one of you, but there, if you really think about that, there's nothing wrong with you. You were just unmothered. And I've said this too before. Some people were raised, some children were raised, some children were watched. And I don't feel like I had much of a hand in raising Huxley. And the reason I don't like to talk about this very much is because I really hate myself for that. There's some things that I'm never going to, I shouldn't say never. I'm only 3.5, 4 years, almost 4 years out of Scientology. But right now, I'm not going to budge on the fact that I really, and I'm using the word hate intentionally, I really hate myself. I don't blame anybody but me. I blame solely me as his mother. Nobody else is Huxley's mother but me. And I hate myself for not taking on that role better than I did. Now, if I could go back right now magically and change and go back in time, okay, there's nothing I could have changed. And I mean that very wholeheartedly. There's not one thing I could have changed. the control would have been the same control, right? It would have been under the Doug was like a dictator, okay, and he controlled, and it was very insidious, the entire family. The deep corruption and control was hardcore in that family, and his wife was just as much a part of that and an enabler. So therefore, I really fucking hate Doug and Brenda with a passion. Don't feel sorry for them. Don't give a holy fuck what happens to them. Don't care one bit. So for the people right now that are like, poor Brenda, you recorded her calls. Fuck everybody who thinks that, and fuck Brenda. Okay. I'm going to just say that right now. I absolutely hate those people. And I try not to think about it because it just really, I just erupt in all kinds of emotions. But I don't blame them still. I blame me for not taking more control. But the fact of the matter is, I was the only one that went through it and experienced it. All I can do is explain what happened. And if I could go back and experience everything again, nothing would change. Doug and Brenda both had financial control over us. They had control over Huxley, and they had Scientology on their side. So I was going up against Doug, his wife, his son, which is Huxley's father, because those three were all on that side. I was standing alone on my side. There's nothing I could have done to change it. But it's still, hey, JoJo, it still makes me irate, and it makes me very angry with myself and nobody else. Okay. But it's a tough topic. And, it's kind of like, I think about this because I think the haters think, this is my biggest weakness. So this is what they go after. This is no different than those guys calling me fat, ugly. Like, you're never going to hit my weak spot because I hit it harder than you ever will. I am really pretty self-aware in this category, and I know how poor of a mother I have been to my child. So you putting up some post or video going, Reese is a bad mom, mother of the year, does nothing. You are not even going to make a dent. I'm pretty bulletproof there because I tear myself down. I'm rotting inside over it. You'll never do any damage that I'm not going to do first. So, hey, Barbara Waite, the fact that you acknowledge it and talk about it with Hux, it bothers you is massive. Well, thank you, Happy Thoughts. I'm not the worst mother, but hey, Nicola, I wish that I could fix a lot of things. And so the point is, I was having this conversation with Huxley today. Sometimes I'm open with him about this and sometimes I'm not. And I'm not the kind of person, like, I've got a lot of issues with my own mom, okay? Just about my childhood. I am not the kind of person, and I've said this many times, I'm not going to go to my mom on a random Thursday, right? And be like, hey, why did you do this? And why did you do that? And I have questions. I think that's incredibly selfish. I think that. Hey, Heather, if my mom wanted to hash that shit out, it would organically happen and we would talk about it. There are signs and things along the way that have happened that I know for a fact she doesn't want to talk about it. Okay. So, I think, hey, Kat, it would be super shitty of me to be like, hey, I want to pull up your trauma. Let's dig up your trauma from 35 years ago. What happened there? I want to know. That's not my place. Even though I was the child and I was there and she was the mom and she left when I was 6, I don't think it's right to dig up somebody's past and go, because I was there, I want to talk about it. That's like forcing somebody to have therapy, right? Like, that's like forcing therapy on someone. That's like going up to someone and going, you better get rid of those cigarettes. They're going to kill you. You're going to get lung cancer. Like this, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. You cannot fucking force that on a person. And even though it's a painful wound, it's not going to heal by forcing that with another person, if that makes sense. I know my mom very well. She doesn't want to approach the topic, right? That's okay. And I'm also at peace with the fact that she may die one day, or I may die one day, not approaching the topic. Like, I'm okay with the fact that I'm never going to get some of those questions answered, and I'm never going to get the closure I'm looking for there with both of my parents. I've made peace with that. Hey, Aunt Nene Hobbs. So I kind of do the same thing with Huxley, right? I have a lot of issues and things that I'm very upset about, but I also have always been this way as a parent. He's the kid, I'm the parent. I'm an adult, he's a minor, right? So age appropriate things has always been my go-to. Probably Susan. Age appropriate situations and topics are always my go-to with my son. The way I look at this is he's going to be an adult one day with all kinds of worries and adult problems. I don't give him my adult problems and saddle him with those, if that makes sense. Like, I try very hard not to be like, I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling with that. I do it here. Hey, Mar Lugo. I know, Mar. I know. It's just very, very complicated, but I agree. And I'm glad you're here. I do not want to strap Huxley with my regrets, and I don't like, there's age appropriate things where of course I can apologize to him for being a shitty mom. That's appropriate. But the stuff I'm saying to you now, I don't want to say to him because it just puts worries and complicated adult emotions into his head. That's not his job. I don't want to give Huxley problems. I'd like to keep his life as easy as I can. And I want him to be a kid until he has to be an adult and have all these adult worries and issues, if that makes sense. Hey, Ann Battles. I don't like to worry him with problems that I have. It's not his problem. I don't want to make my problems his problems. Okay. So, that's so nice, Susan. Give yourself a hug fund. Thank you. That's really kind of you. It means a lot, actually. And thank you. Thank you for the super chat. So I'm listening to Huxley today, and he's very, this is what I mean. I don't bring things up. I bring things up if he's bringing it up already or if it's something that's organic to the conversation. But what I mean by that is I don't want him to be coming home from school, having a good day. And I'm like, let's talk about how bad of a mom I am. Like, no, I don't. Same with my mom, right? Like, I don't want to go to my mom and we just had a nice lunch. And I'm like, okay, so here's the bad news. I'm going to lay it on you, right? Like, no, I don't like that. So if there's an opportunity and the door opens, I will have a conversation with anybody, but it needs to happen. I don't want to just like shock the hell out of someone and dump on them. Right. I don't know if I'm making sense. Yeah. Tito, truth be told, I'm not very motherly either. And I talk to myself about it often and compare myself to other moms. Okay. So this is kind of where I wanted to go with this. And I got to be honest with you, Mar, thank you for admitting that. Thank you for saying that. Because here's what I was saying in therapy the other day, and I really mean this, Mar. Thank you. And thank you for the super chat. What she just said makes me feel less alone because I think there's a lot of pressure on moms and women in general. Hey, Just Jen, to, like I said the other day, like my children are my everything and I don't have a life at all because they are my life and I would do anything for them and I'd jump in front of a bus and they're the love of my life and my husband comes second and I come third. And I think women are pressured to talk like that. And I think it's fucking weird. And I got to be honest, the people who are so infatuated with their children, like who talk like that, it makes me think of George Carlin. When he would say the stand-up, he would say that's child worship and it's unhealthy. I actually agree with that. I think things need to be separated out, right? Like, of course, they're your children. That's your flesh and blood. It came out of your body. You made that. Yes. It's something to be very proud of. And of course, love more than most things in life and want them to win, help them, nurture them, right? Like all of those things. Yes. But to what extent? Like it gets weird for me when people are too much and you have zero life and your kids are just your whole fucking life. Hey, Amy Knight, and it's all you talk about and it's all you do and it's all your future. And like, you don't have a life. It's just your children. Like you live through your children. That's weird to me. And I've seen marriages suffer from that because the kids come first and our relationship doesn't. And I see it where but who am I to judge, right? Like, I'm just telling you what I've noticed. I don't like the child worship end of things either. I think you should have your own fucking life, your own existence. Like, you chose to have kids. I think that's great. But like, when you become that, where it's like, you can't tell where the kid ends and you begin kind of a thing because you're so obsessed with your children. That's also a lot. And I'm not shaming anybody. It sucks, but it's where I am in the day I give up my date night with my husband because I'm only doing for my children. That will be the day I will divorce. Yeah, it's hard. It's also something I feel like, one thing a lot of people don't talk about because it's kind of a shameful. If the messy dude, I don't know what you mean by, but why? I think it's a touchy topic, right? Because if you're not the woman that's like, I can do it all, but my children are my number one and my husband and and like, I think it's hard for people to admit what Mar has said, right? Which is sometimes we can't balance it all. And if your children are not like the best thing that's ever happened to you, and you're so proud and it's your greatest accomplishment, you jump in front of a bullet for them. It's like, that's okay if you don't feel that way. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to call it. It's okay if you don't feel that way. Right? Now, you should love them. Right? But I'm not here to dole out parenting advice either. I'm not a good parent. Oh, okay, messy dude. Well, I don't know yet because I'm still talking about it, but that's kind of where I'm at. And so here's the problem. Truth be told, I was unmothered, right? My mom left when I was 6. I saw her a handful of times on some weekends, right? Some afternoons, about 5 to 6 times. And then I saw her again when I was 18. That's a pretty big fucking gap. What is that? 12 years. I would say I was unmothered, right? Like, from 6 to 18 is a pretty big gap where you probably could use your mom, I'm guessing, right? Hey, Allison, thank you. It's a pretty big time, I think, in a child's life between the age of 6 and 18, boy or girl, where you probably need your mother. And I did not have mine. Now, I'm not shaming my mom by saying that. It's just a fact. That's just a fact. I'm not sitting here going any way or the other about it. It's just I was unmothered in that sense. And for those reasons, I have a 16-year-old boy now who doesn't have a dad. His dad isn't in his life. His dad is probably in his life 5 to 10%. I mean, hardly at all. And it's just me and my son. The problem is I left home when I was just turning 14, left 9th grade, and went on staff at the Church of Scientology. And then I lost my dad at 16. Truth be told, I kind of lost my dad around the age of 7 because after my mom left, he left for up to about a week at a time playing pool, traveling around different states for pool tournaments. He would go to a lot of bars and hustle pool. And he would leave for, I don't know, sometimes 3 days at a time, sometimes 7. And I would get up and go to school. I'd walk to school every day. He would leave $100 bill on the table, and I would go walk up to the Town and Country on 45th and Leavenworth in Omaha, Nebraska. And I would get groceries and snacks, and I would feed myself, and I would make a can of soup with a half a peanut butter and jelly sandwich every day when I got home from school. I had a bunch of animals, but it was just me most of the time. I liked it that way. I'm grateful for it, to be honest. Like, was it abusive? Sure. It was also, what are you chewing on? I think his bone. More neglect. I mean, definitely more neglect to me than abuse. But the thing is like, I always look at it like it could have been worse. My dad never touched me once. I can't remember a time my father hugged me. Honestly, I can't. My dad never said I love you. He really didn't like me, to be honest, and I'm grateful for that. Looking back, I'm grateful for that. Because what if it was the opposite? What if he came home and was like my cute little girl and was pawing at me or molesting me or touching me inappropriately? There was none of that. So I feel incredibly grateful that while I was alone and I kind of raised myself, I had a good routine, right? I came home every day and I watched George Carlin after school every single day, and sometimes Silence of the Lambs. But what I'm trying to say by that is I truly felt connected to characters in my life that I watched. I felt very, very, very close to George Carlin, like father like. Like I loved popping in the George Carlin VHS tape, sitting down in my tiny little chair that my mom had for me when she left, and I would make a sandwich and soup, and I would sit there and I'd have a ferret in my lap. I had a boa constrictor around my neck. I had my dog, my Boston Terrier. I had my cats. I had a guinea pig, and I was like feeding them pieces of my sandwich, and I'd sit there and laugh and watch George Carlin. It was bizarre, but I felt the same way. Hey, Rio for life about Hannibal Lecter. I know that's weird. It's very strange, but I really, really fell in love with Hannibal Lecter. That character I felt very close to. And I look back on that and I think it's probably because why did I fall? Like, why did I love him so much? What was it about that evil, right? Serial killer of a character? I loved how much he loved Clarice. I loved his interest in her. I loved that he was I loved that he was a killing machine, but he wouldn't kill her. And he loved her. And at the end of the movie, I always loved when he says, um, I want you to know, he says on the phone to her, I want you to know I'll never come after you. The world is much more interesting with you in it. I always felt, I'm a little embarrassed because I feel like I'm going to cry right now, but that scene, like the scenes where he really validates her, when he says, what became of your lamb, Clarice? And she goes, they killed him. And he starts crying and he goes, thank you, Clarice. And he like closes his eyes because I feel like he really, really, really understood her. And I always wanted a relationship like that. Even when I was little, I wanted to be like really deeply understood by somebody. So I felt like I loved Hannibal Lecter because he deeply got her and understood her on minus all the killing and the psycho stuff that he did. I really, really loved how much he cared for her, right? Like that character. And the same thing was with George Carlin. When I would watch him, he was just somebody that made me laugh so much. And I felt connected to him. I understood him. And I felt in weird ways like he understood me. I was like, this is so funny. And I just connected to George Carlin from a very young age. Those were the two characters that I would come home to in my life. I'd come home to an empty house most days. Okay. And then when I would get ready to go to bed, sometimes my dad would pull up in the driveway and I hadn't seen my dad sometimes in a week, right? I'm 7, 8 years old. And I would come running down the stairs and I would go, oh my God, Dad. Like I was so excited to see him. He was the only human in my home life. Now I went to school, but he was the only human in my home life. Okay. So I'd come running down these stairs in my pajamas and he'd go, get away from me. Okay. Can you leave me alone for a minute? I just walked in the damn house. Can you leave me alone for a minute? And I would shrink to about this tall. I always felt so embarrassed, like so rejected, like I overdid it. It's like if you're a really needy girlfriend and you have a crush on a guy and he's not that into you and he like finally breaks your heart and embarrasses you. That's how I would feel. I was always like, and I'd like go up and sit on my bed and start crying. I just always felt really embarrassed by that. Like this rejection of like I would come rushing with all these emotions of love and he would do this like get away from me, like he would do that, and I was always like, oh, that's embarrassing. So let me read this. Reese, everything happens for a reason. Look at the wonderful young man that you have. Know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God. Well, I love that. Know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God. Yeah, New Testament. I believe that too. I absolutely love that, Abigail. And thank you for sharing that with us. That's beautiful. Thank you, Abigail. That's quite lovely. Thank you for the super chat. Susie CJ, many women that talk about their children like that have dysfunction in other areas of life, marriage being one. There's typically something. I would agree with that very much too, Susie. And by the way, I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for the super chat. I thought I just heard something. Have you spoken to your therapist about ACEs? You've lived through significant childhood ACEs? I've never heard of that. I don't know what that means. So no. Susie says, Reese, it's truly a miracle that you are the woman you are today in the most beautiful way. Thank you so much. I'm trying not to cry. I'm already feeling the emotions come out. This is why I don't talk about this stuff very often, because I don't think about this stuff very often. And it's, in a lot of ways, it's very shameful and embarrassing. The things I'm sharing with you, I stuff down, and I find it shameful and embarrassing. So, Susie, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate that. I'm having a hard time controlling my emotions right now. Because the cycle hasn't stopped, right? So my parents, truth be told, I don't think wanted children. I don't think they wanted me. And it kind of showed, right? Like, it's hard when you realize that you really weren't highly considered on the list. You kind of weren't on the list as a kid. And I realize that there's a lot of us like that. I realize I'm not a lone wolf here as I say this. But I don't feel who is this person? I don't understand stop drinking boxed wine to control your emotions. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's some kind of joke. I'm not sure. I don't feel like the cycle broke with me. I feel a lot of shame. I feel a lot of shame, like, it's not that I don't want Huxley or didn't want Huxley. It's the opposite. I wanted Huxley. I planned for Huxley. I loved Huxley. Love Huxley. But it didn't go. Well, that's fine. Tower Tarot can stay. They're a troll. That's fine. Let them troll themselves into embarrassment. I wanted Huxley a lot. But I don't feel like I got him. Right? So, hey, Charlene, I felt like what I wanted was taken from me. And I don't really like to let people take things from me. And I feel like I put up a pretty good fight about shit. I'm not like you can't walk all over me too easily before I'm finally going to say something. And I let his entire childhood I took a big step back once I realized I wasn't going to win this. Being his mom, being his number one, being his person, following through with the plan that I had when I found out I was pregnant and peed on a stick. So there's nobody to blame except me, because I wish that I had not given up my title as his parent, and they took over at 6 months. They took over Huxley's life at about 6 months of age. I mean, truth be told, the first night I got him home from the hospital, his grandparents came and stayed in my tiny house, kept him in his nursery in the glider that I bought. I didn't even get to have him the first night of his life in my home. These people took over. The reason I say the 6-month mark is because 6 months is when they started taking him to their house for a week at a time. But up to 6 months, they stayed at my house and watched Huxley. And they took over my role as his parent. And in the beginning, I tried to fight that. And then I realized real fast my place in the family and that I was not going to win. It was very intimidating. They had complete full financial control. And it was very transactional, right? It was very, we will pay your bills, but we're taking the kid. And I really fucking hate myself. And I don't know that I'm ever going to recover from that. And it's hard to admit it, but I think it's important to talk about these things, just even if it's beneficial for me. It's maybe not for anybody else. But I need to discuss these things because I'm never going to heal from it if I don't. Thank you, Anne. And let me read Liz's super chat here, and I have something I want to say. Sandy Kobach's not quite. It's not quite the same thing. Until my mom died when I was 15, I felt unmothered as she didn't know how to mom. So I reached out to women to get the mom I didn't have growing up. I decided not to be a mom to break the cycle. I knew I couldn't do it. Wow, Liz. Now, I knew that first part. I didn't know the second part when you said that you decided not to be a mom to break the cycle. I did not know that part. And thank you for being so open, Liz. And thank you for the super chat. Thank you for sharing that. Again, it makes me feel less alone. Megan says, my mother didn't want kids either, Reese. It was awful. I really wanted my kids, and I make sure they know. I made mistakes too with my kids that messed that up, and I had to own that and apologize too. And again, Megan, that's so open, and I appreciate you sharing here because it helps me a lot, more than you realize. Thank you, Megan. And thank you for the super chats, guys. Happy Day says it's one thing to try to feel better about it and reframe it in a more positive light. It's another thing to mourn the loss. You have to do both. Well, that is very big observation and very true. That's some good wisdom right there. Happy thoughts. Thank you for your super chat. So today I was chatting with Huxley when he got off the bus, and Huxley's like me, he's kind of a deep thinker. And I recognized something within about 10 minutes of this conversation, and it made me very sad. Now, he doesn't know. I tried not to show emotion with him because I still feel awkward around him sometimes. Like, I still feel weird opening up around him because he wasn't raised with me. He wasn't raised by me, and I don't know what's appropriate anymore and what's not when it comes to how I don't want to dump on him. And I don't know how much he recognizes either. It's just, I don't know how deep I want to go with him. So I just kind of scaled back. But about 10 minutes in, he was talking about how frustrated he is about, he wants to get a car. That's kind of his number one goal right now. And of course it is, right? He gets his driver's license in about 8 weeks. He's got his learner's permit, and he doesn't want to ride the school bus anymore. That's his thing. He's like, all the other kids my age have cars at school. And he's like, I'm embarrassed. I'm mad that I don't have one. And he's like really showing a lot of emotion about it. And he's upset. And I was listening, but I was also like, Huxley, he's got a pattern of this. To be honest, like this time last year, He was in the exact same boat, but it was about working out. He was obsessed with working out. And I got to have protein and I got to look like this. And hey, Pat, and I don't look like this. And I'm overweight. Now I'm underweight. I measured my arms and they're not enough. Like he got really obsessive last year about protein. He's shown patterns of this before where he can't get out of his own way about stuff. Now, he's a 16-year-old boy, not uncommon, right? Like I'm not super concerned about that, but I kind of am in a lot of ways, and here's why. Sorry to get that out. Yeah, he's definitely trying to control something. But more deep than that, honestly, VJ Burke, I noticed something. And it made me feel super guilty. He doesn't have any coping skills. Now, a lot of kids probably I don't know what that means, beautiful dreamer. A lot of kids probably are going through the same thing, right? Like a lot of even that generation is kind of the instant gratification. I want it and I want it now. It's not unheard of, okay? But yeah, I also realize that he doesn't have very much for coping skills. He has a hard time, and I tried to break this down, kind of explain this to him in the best way I could. I said, Huxley, this is my fault, but you really don't have very much for coping skills. And he was like, I don't know what that means. Hey, DNV. And I said, well, it's hard to explain, but I said, you have a hard time with, hey, just as I am, I said, you have a hard time with strategizing, and like, you just get very angry quickly that you don't have whatever the goal is, the thing that you want. And I said, hey, Susan Cook, I said, basically, Huxley, your goal is to get to F, right? Or G or whatever. And you want to go from A to F. And I said, but what you don't realize is you have to go from A to B, and it might be hard to get to C and then D and then E, and it might be a really hard thing to do. But you can't jump the line. You can't do that. And I could see the wheels turning in his head. And I said, I know it's hard. I know it's hard to think like that. I said, but here's the thing. You just have to kind of, he goes, but all the other kids have cars. And I said, but so, right, Abigail, for sure, you would think. But I said, but Huxley, I said, honestly, like, I know it's hard. It's easy for me to say this, but I said, it's hard to understand, but it really doesn't matter what they think. You're not going to know those kids in 2, 3, 4 years. Like it really doesn't matter. And it's not even so much of those kids, it's what they represent. I said, you've got to place more value on what you think of a situation than what others think. And I said, I'll give you an example. It's like what I said, Huxley, my entire job is navigating, staying on point and staying in my lane, but I've got all these other people in my ear, emailing me, haters, love bombing. I've got loads, large amounts of people that think I should do it this way, or think I'm a bad mom, or call child services, or I'm a grifter, don't give her your money, unsubscribe. Like if I had to let all this is if I let everything in, it would sink me. It's a boat. My head is a boat, right? I can't let everything in. And I said, what really matters is what I think anyway. And I told him that. I said, it's taken me a long time to understand that. But I said, Huxley, the thing is, you're never going to please everyone. And if you want to find dirt or hate or disappointment or anger, you're going to fucking find it. But you're going to find the positive, and you're going to be able to know how you feel just as easily. It's what you choose to focus on. Right. But you can't let every single person pull you down, because they will. Some people, that's their goal in life. We've met them. Right? Hello, haters. We know you're watching. Their goal in life is to get in here, right? To weasel their way in and figure out how to make me go crazy or gaslight myself or I'm too well versed on how that works. It won't happen. But I get people like Huxley, young people, caring what other people think. That is a tough habit to break. It's a really, really tough habit to break. And I've seen people who are old, right? In the senior living field, I've seen people who still are trying to keep up with the Joneses and give a shit about what everybody thinks and appearances. And I have to do this to impress this group. So it can be young people, it can be way older people who still think what you think matters. Now, my friends and people that I value, of course, I take into consideration what they say. I'm not that big headed and narcissistic to go, I don't listen to anybody. I just trust myself. No, I think that you should have a nice, tight, good circle of people around you, but you have to be really choosy about who they are because they are going to be getting access to this. And you got to be really picky about who gets access, right? That's not always easy either. So I tried to kind of give him that impression, like what you think about you and your progress and your goals and where you want to go to school and all of those things. That's what matters. Your lane, not what the person to the left of you and to the right of you is saying. None of that matters. And I said, I know you want a car. I know you want to drive. You're going to accomplish that goal and you're going to get to do that the rest of your life, right? Like this is going to happen for you. Don't worry. But I said in 10 years, Hux, it'll be something new. It'll be, they have a nicer house than I do, or that person got the job and I didn't. It's always going to, I said, there's always, son, there's always going to be a bigger bear. There's always going to be a richer fish. There's always going to be somebody that you're like, they got ahead of me. Always. That's exactly why you want to stay in your own lane because there's always going to be something that you didn't get or you thought was unfair or you idolize, right? Like there's always going to be that. No, he doesn't talk to Tommy hardly at all, Tennessee girl. Huxley is going through whatever he's going through with the mail side of things. And he's also doing that thing that a lot of teenagers do where he doesn't want to talk to me either. He knows best. That's where we're at with Huxley. He knows best. He doesn't need advice. He doesn't need to talk. He knows. So I just let him go with that, right? Like I don't. That's funny. Do you tell him it matters that that he just accomplishes his goals? Of course. Yes, that was the gist of the entire conversation. Yeah. Debbie. So yes. And so that was the whole point of our conversation. As I said to him, the car thing, I said, let's take that because that's what matters to you most right now. The car thing is all he wants. He wants to make money. He wants to be on his own. Huxley's extremely independent. He's not going to be a codependent kid. He's not probably going to be living with me at 21 or 19 or freeloading off of me. He wants to go to college if he can get into a college, but he wants to get a job and he wants to just be on his own. That's his thing. I get it. I was kind of that way too. I was probably an old soul, maybe like him. So yes, I said, the goal is the car. That's what's most important. So let's set that goal. And I said, I'm helping you put money away. He's saving up money too. I said, the goal is the car. So let's make that the goal. I said, but you can't skip the line and go from A to F. You have to go from A to B to C. And I said, we're doing that. We're putting money away. You're going to get your license. You're studying to take the test. We're figuring out how much car insurance is going to cost. Like you have to go through these steps. My point is, you thought my parents had a car for him. I talked to my mom about that today. She wants me to get a quote on car insurance for it, but I don't think they're giving it to him. I don't think they're going to give it to him. That's going to be something that I think she wants to talk with him about privately, but I think it's going to be a we're buying it situation. However, Huxley also has his own thoughts on that. And there's a truck that he wants, and they don't have a truck. He wants to buy a truck. So I'm not the kind of person that goes, no, we're going to do this. I'm letting him kind of decide how he wants to go about that. And depending on the price my mom sets on the car that he can buy from her, he might go, no, I want to buy a truck on my own. He's kind of like that. He's a little stubborn like that. So I'm letting him make that decision on his own. But the point is the coping part of it. And I just I don't feel there's just so many conversations I've had with him where I'm like, oh boy, I'm worried for him entering into adulthood because I don't feel like I prepared or taught him very well because I didn't. I don't feel like that because I didn't. And he doesn't have just some basic life stuff under his belt that I probably didn't either at that age. I also didn't have parents at his age. So this is also, you have to understand, it's way more important to focus on Huxley here, but it's also weird for me because I don't have any fucking memories right now of being 16 and being like, well, I treated my mom this way. I was hard on my dad right before I went to college. I don't have memories like that. I was fucking a 26-year-old at 16, working 12 to 14 hours a day at the Church of Scientology on staff, smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. So there's no point of reference for me here. I don't know. I don't have anything to relate to in this department. So it's weird for him because he was raised by his grandparents who dumped his ass, right? And it's weird for me because I'm picking up the pieces of a child whose grandparents dumped his ass and me and trying to navigate motherhood when I didn't have a mom at this age. I got nothing to compare to. So even talking to him, it's like let's put it this way. Let's pretend that I had a normal upbringing as far as what's a normal upbringing. There isn't one. But let's pretend not a Scientologist would be a good start, right? Let's pretend that I had both of my parents or even just one. I had my dad and he loved me and put me through school, right? So let's say that I went through high school, I went through college. At least I would have, I feel like, some skills under my belt because I'm repeating what I know. I have memories. I have a memory bank of, well, I gave my parents hell when I was a 16-year-old, me and my girlfriends, and we would go out. I didn't have any of that. I was a full-time adult working with other adults. I didn't have other 16-year-old friends. Hey, Kara. I didn't go to the movies on Friday nights. I wasn't kissing boys. None of that. So it's very fucking foreign for me. It's hard to describe this, but it's foreign as shit, I think, for both of us right now. I just think it's weird for both of us trying to navigate this weird path because Huxley was given to me now. I was actually able to take over as his mother full time when he was 13. That's kind of late in the game. And so now I'm trying to hurry up and raise and do a good job until he turns 18. And I'm not doing very well because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And I can't help him much with school because I didn't go to school. I don't know shit about school. Now, we had an awesome conversation last night about he's taking American history and he was telling me all kinds of stuff that I didn't know. He's also taking welding this year, which I think is really cool. He tried to get that class last year, but it was full. So he's taking welding and he was telling me all about it. Those are my favorite kind of conversations because honestly, I get stuff out of it too. Yeah, Danny, I learn things now, right? Because he shares with me what he's learning and I never learned that stuff. So we have great topics of conversations as well, but I feel very fucking inadequate. I feel very less than sitting there listening. And that's why I say I don't feel like I deserve to be a mom. I don't feel like I know what I'm doing at all. And it's shameful and it's embarrassing in my own head because I don't talk about it much. I will share. I'm not too ashamed to share because I do realize that other people might actually get something beneficial out of this conversation. I realize I'm not the only parent out here going, I feel lost. I know there's a ton of parents out there going, I have it all together and I know what I'm doing. And most of them are my haters, right? Most of my haters are at the top of the list of human beings, right? They don't make mistakes. They're good wives, good spouses, good people, no criminal records, good parents, successful. Right. So I don't mind admitting to being a faulty human being. That's not something I'm embarrassed about. I really fucking hate though. If I see something I don't like, I want to change it immediately. I want to change it. I can't change this. There's nothing I can do about it. I can go forward, which I am. I'm not stuck in the past. I realize there could be a bright future here. I realize that we could mend this stuff, but I don't. 13 years is a long time that he was under the control. We both were, to be honest, not just him. Huxley and I, for 13 straight years, were under the control, financially and otherwise, Scientology, everything, of Doug and Brenda. And it drove a huge problem into my marriage at the time, Huxley's father, because those were his parents. And he was also, just horribly under their control. And I would say to him, can you help me with this? Can we take a stand and take our kid back? Can we get him maybe on a weekend? And his dad would be like, I'm not messing with that, right? Everybody was afraid of Doug and Brenda, especially Doug, right? They owned us. And if we tried to go up against them, they had Scientology to back them. So there was no winning that. There was never any winning that. And Doug was extremely verbally abusive. Very scary. Yell, scream. Brenda warned me early on. She was like, don't upset Doug. You don't want to know that. She always used the word gnarly. I don't use that word. That was her word. She would go, Doug can get really gnarly. We don't want Doug to get really gnarly. Everybody was afraid of him in our family because he owned all the money and he had a lot of it. And he was super nice to you as long as you fell in line, right? He said that in the very beginning. I had no idea that I was just a vessel. I was a surrogate when I was pregnant with Huxley. He took over Huxley the second he was born. Literally, he met Huxley before I did. He got into the NICU by lying to the nurse staff saying that he's our family minister. I hadn't even met Huxley yet. I didn't meet Huxley until day 4 of him being born. Doug, the first 3 days of Huxley's life, was in there holding him and bonding with him, telling the nurse staff that he was our family minister. So he was insidious as fuck, and he took over right away. So as long as I was cool and I handed my son over, and he would say that to me, I'll pay your house payment. I'll pay Michael's car payment. My car was already paid off. He would go, I'll pay for your cell phones. He would go like this. This is what he would say. I'm a dentist. I make all this money. What am I going to do with it if I can't help my kids? He always pawned himself off as this, hey, Mad Drop, amazing. Hey, Thought Criminal, amazing. Just grand, right? Patriarch of the family. And in the beginning, I was like, wow, because I was the one making the most money. I worked for ophthalmologists. Michael had no life experience. He had never gone to school. Their son, they did not put through school. Okay. So he got a job as a cashier in a grocery store. That was not paying the bills. So Doug stepped in when Huxley was born and was like, oh, I'll cover everything. Whatever you're short on, I'll cover it. And I said, wow. But there was one problem I wasn't aware of until years later, and the problem was too big to kill. It was too big of a monster at that point. He took control of my child, took him from me. I never had a Thanksgiving with my son until 2 years ago. Christmas morning, he came and picked him up every year. I didn't get to spend that time with my child. Took him, just completely took over. And all was good if you didn't buck up, if you didn't say anything, right? He was very strategic. It was grooming. If you didn't fight back, You were good. You were in the circle. You were welcome. You were praised, and you were rewarded with money. If you said, you're not taking him, that is when you would see the gnarly version screaming of Doug. And I never once won, never once. And I learned real quick it was going to be me fighting him and nobody else. I tried to get Brenda to help me. I tried to get Michael to help me, and they both were like, we're not going up against that. So for about a year, I would go, you're not taking him. He's mine. I would try. And he would be like, fuck you. You won't get your bills paid, and I'm taking him. And he'd get really ugly with me. So eventually it wore me down, and I knew there was no winning that. And then eventually I would go to the church and try to write up reports on this. I would go to somebody. I would go, I need help. Nobody's helping me. He just takes the kid. We would go to church events, and I would get to see Huxley at church events. That's how I would get to see him on weekends. And people would come up to me and go, your son is so cute, but Doug wouldn't let me anywhere near him. And I would go, yeah, me either. I didn't even get to drive him here. I came here to see him. This is where I catch up seeing my baby. And I can't tell you how hateful I am over that, and how much I hate myself for allowing it. I don't know who I hate more, me or Doug. I'm not sure. If it helps any, this talk makes a lot of us feel better to know we're not alone. Thank you so much, Marlugo, and I agree with that. Hey, Caroline. Thank you for your super chat, Mar. You don't have to answer, but have you ever considered that something inappropriate was going on? Yeah, I'm not going to answer that, Bree. We've talked about it before. I think the entire situation was inappropriate. Hey, Molly Moon. Didn't Doug act the same way when you told him that you weren't putting him in Scientology? Oh, yeah. Doug became a demon, literally. He became someone else. Anybody that would have met Doug would have gone, God, he's amazing. He's the best grandpa. He's so nice. You crossed that fucking line, and he was a different person. It was almost like he would shapeshift into something else. Absolutely every time. Yes. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that went on for 13 years, and all of that damage has been done. And it's really, really hard for me to just go, well, I got my son back now, and I'm going to be the best mom I can be. It's just not that natural for me at this point. And I feel very awkward at it. And I feel Brenda's an absolute piece of shit. As far as I'm concerned, yeah, Brenda's a total enabler. And people like to feel sorry for Brenda. And I'll never feel sorry for Brenda. Sometimes I think Brenda's more evil than Doug. And the reason I say that is I know more than you guys do. And I've shared it here before. But Brenda abandoned the fuck out of her children. She had 2 boys, Sam and Michael. I was married to Michael. Michael is Huxley's father. Michael is 4 years younger than Sam. Sam is, hey, Martin. Sam is closer to my age. I want to say Sam is a year younger than me. Hey, Stanley. They did not. So Sam took to Scientology immediately. He was a golden child. He was unbelievably smart, and he took to training like a duck to water, man. Sam was a full-time trained auditor on staff, auditing full-grown adults in the auditing section of Scientology in the building, okay, which is the most expensive part of the building. Sam was a full-time auditor for adults, paying full-time big money for that, okay? really, really wealthy people were hiring Sam to audit their problems when he started training, I think at 7 or 8 years old, on staff every day. And he was a full-time fucking auditor by the age of 12. That's insane. Did you hear what I just said? Okay. That's insane. He was auditing out sex and all kinds of adult problems at a very young age. He didn't get the opportunity to go. He never went to school. Brenda took him to work with her every fucking day because they both worked full time on staff. She took her 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old son on staff to be auditing full grown adults about adult problems at that age. Okay. Sam took to it and was super whip smart, and he studied fast. He was a fast student. Michael did not. He was the opposite. He was much slower. He hated Scientology from the get-go. They forced it on him. He didn't want to do it. He cried all the time. They would push, push, push. This is his mom. This is the mom of 2 boys doing that, forcing that on those kids. Fuck you and everyone who looks like you. Absolutely not. So Michael eventually they gave up on him. So what she would do is take him to work with her and Sam to work with her every day. Okay. I met Michael when he was 9. I joined staff when Michael was 9. I was 14. They gave up on him. So what they did was Brenda put Michael and Sam into her car every day. She went to work at the church. Sam went to work at the church. Michael would go sit on a couch outside of the office I worked in like this with a Game Boy, and he just shut off to the world. He wore a hat and he would wear it down over his face so that you couldn't see his face. He was terrified. He didn't talk to anybody. He was a shut-in. He was an introvert. He had major, major anxiety. Hey, sidetracked searching. Welcome over from the boat. I love that you're here. Is Michael creative? Yeah, I would say he's incredibly intelligent in the art side of things. He's always been interested in the arts. Like he always wanted to be a director, a movie director. He could tell you every single factoid about every single movie ever made, every single director, every single actor, what year it won for this, that, and the other. He's super, super into that. I'm proud of him for that. Didn't go to school. So Michael was afraid of everyone. Major anxiety, major, major, major issues, even voicing, speaking, communicating, to the point where later when we got married, he always told me he had a crush on me because I was the next youngest person there, right? They're all adults. I was 14 and I come along and join staff. And I'm walking past him every day and he's sitting on this couch. And so eventually I used to come over and like I would give him some of my lunch or I would talk to him. Sometimes I'd forcefully do it though. Like I made him talk to me. I'd sit on the couch and I'd like bump him and I'd be like, hey, you. And he didn't want to talk to anybody. And so I'd kind of make him laugh. I'd make him giggle. And then after that, he kind of got more used to me. And I started like propping his hat up to see his eyes. And I'd go, hey, you. And he ended up taking to me, ended up liking me. And we ended up getting married for almost 10 years. And he told me that he felt the most safe with me at all times. And he really appreciated that. And our whole marriage, I was the same way. I was very protective of him. He had a hard time communicating. He was the same 9-year-old kid in my marriage. He was frightened all the time, very fearful, had a hard time talking to people. Scientology still came pounding on our door, literally uninvited. They'd show up at night and they'd go, we want to talk to Michael. It'd be like some Sea Org members. And I'd go, you can fuck right off, because they'd want to talk to him alone. And I knew him. He would shake. He was terrified. He was abused by Scientology, hardcore. And I was abused too, but I was willing to use my voice. He was not. So I would say, you're not talking to him. And they'd go, oh, we're here to talk to him. We're going to write you the fuck up if you don't let us in. And I would go, you can come in and talk to him, but I'm going to stand here and listen, because I'm not going to allow that. So I was always kind of that person for him since he turned 9. That's where I came into his life. And I kind of just was always very like motherly. That's why our marriage ended for the most part, because after the 9-year point, I was like, I don't feel like we're a married couple. I feel like I'm your mom. Like that's one of the reasons we never had sex. Like I just couldn't. I was like, I'm not sexually attracted to you. I feel like I'm your mom. I'm constantly kind of protecting you and I'm still will do that. And I told him that. I said, we'll always be friends and I'll always protect you. And I told him to this day, you can come live with me. If you ever feel unsafe, you can come live with me. I will always be here for you, right? So he knows that. But the point is, that's how she was to her children. So when he turned 12, he stopped going to the church. Why? Because Brenda got drafted to go to a training program in Florida, Clearwater, for 4 fucking years. She was gone. She left when he was 12. She came back when he turned 16. Just left just to go get some training. She left her child at the age of 12. So he stayed home every day after that. He never went to school. He stayed home every day. Sam continued on staff and he just sat at home all day. So this is why I don't feel sorry for her. And I don't know if I hate her even more because I can't believe how motherless she ever was to those kids. I don't feel bad for her. She's still a full-time staff member. She still doesn't have hardly anything to do with Michael. Nothing. I know this because I've talked to him recently. They still don't have anything to do with him. And he's still in this world. If not, he's worse now than he was then. He's extremely broken. He's extremely withdrawn. And he has high anxiety. So I'm not going to go any further than that because that's his private business. And these are things I've talked about. But it destroyed him. Scientology wiped him out and he never had a chance. And I've shared the sad stories. Like he's shared some horrible stories with me where they really deeply abused him as a child. And it makes me fucking sick. And it made him broken and introverted. It made me angry and loud, right? Right, Linda Perales. So I don't feel bad for either one of those people. Doug or Brenda. I think they're disgusting. I think they're evil. I think they're fucking demonic people. And I hate them. I absolutely hate them. They stole my motherhood from me. They stole childhood from Huxley, from their own kids. Nobody had a chance because they knew what was best and they were going to do it because they had the money and they had full control. So it's really some evil, insidious, it runs deep shit. They're not good people. They're not fucking good people. You'll never convince me that they were or are. Okay. So for sure, Kim is blue. That's why this cult is evil and it needs to be exposed because Doug and Brenda and my father are just 2 sets of parents out of thousands of sets of parents doing the exact same thing in Scientology. I wish I could say that Doug, Brenda, and Gene Wally, my dad, are the only 3 who really treated their kids poorly in Scientology. The rest of the parents are really good. Sadly, that's not the case. And sadly, none of these kids ever had a fucking shot who were born and raised into Scientology. And look at, and I very rarely comment on this, and I try to stay in my own lane, but I'll give you a great example. If most of you know, just take a look at the ex-Scientology community right now. Look at the people who were born into it or raised up into it. Look at the examples out here right now. And I'm including myself in this pool. It's not like I'm above it. Look at the examples. Look at fucking crazy motherfucker Aaron Smith-Levin, right? Destructive as destructive goes, right? It doesn't get much worse. He's super destructive. He loves drama. He loves to stir shit up. He loves to hurt people. He gets off on when people are in pain. He loves to lie about people, right? He's still very much a Scientologist. That's what they do. They're destructive. That's what he's doing because he doesn't think there's anything wrong with it. He sees nothing wrong with himself, his actions, his behavior. He's not trying to improve it. He's not trying to better himself. That's what you get. That's the consequences of a kid that you brought up in Scientology. Yeah, that long list that Liz Gale did shows the generational damage of Scientology. I don't even really hate Aaron for that. That part of Aaron I feel sorry for, because that's why I say, he's just another broken ex-Scientologist. That's how I look at him. A lot of people idolize him or think he's some celebrity. He's not to me. He's just a broken ass Scientologist. Take care, Martin. He's just a really broken Scientologist. So he's hurting. And that's the, what is the word I'm looking for? That's the outcome, perhaps. This is what we're seeing. This is a man in his mid to late 40s, right? This is what we're seeing when you don't heal from all the damage that Scientology did. In a lot of ways, it's not even really Aaron's fault. It's like my ex-husband, right? I mean, he's not damaging like that to others. He's damaging to himself, right? But all of us are super damaged, and this is the consequences of that. You're seeing it in real time. It doesn't shock me. This is just the outcome, right? When somebody is that abused and damaged, they rewired our brains, right? Like they literally, hey, Sharon, they Jeffrey Dahmered us, but in the spiritual abuse side of things. I won't see that any other way than the way I came up with it the other day. Jeffrey Dahmer drilled holes into people's heads and poured some acid solution in trying to create his own soldiers, right? L. Ron Hubbard did the same thing to us, but rewired us and broke us mentally with his weird concepts and indoctrination. He fucked people up on a very deep level and literally tried to rewire them into not being human. He made us not human. And that's what you're seeing now. I see, you don't maybe see it in me so much because I'm sitting here talking with myself to you guys. But if someone were to have a conversation with me, you'd probably see how checked the fuck out I am as far as empathy or just I'm pretty desensitized. It takes me a minute to feel things sometimes, like to show emotion about things. Tommy and I will have some deep talks, and he will lay on me some really deep thing that most people would go, oh my God, that's horrible. Tommy will watch me and I'll be all blank and dead behind the eyes. And he'll go, kid, did you just hear what I said? And I'll go, oh yeah. Oh, that's sad. Like, it takes a minute because I have to rewire myself to feel shit. Scientology removes all originality from people. They don't want you to be yourself that you were born with, that God gave to you, right? They want you to be these blind, empty, dead behind the eyes soldiers. And that's what they've created. I'm very delayed, OG Gaslit, and even now. I mean, I'm only 3.5 years out anyway, but I don't give these examples much because it's triggering as shit, but like death. Somebody offing themselves, right? In Scientology, any Scientologist would go, bummer. Who gives a fuck? What do you guys want to eat tonight? You want mozzarella sticks? They don't care. It's removed. That's removed. Like, the sensitivity in people is removed. And if I was my real, true, dark self with you, and I am sometimes, I'm not hiding it, but it's hard to be that way when I'm not having a conversation with someone. So, like, you might see it on the Zoom call. I bet people see it on the Zoom call where people will say something and I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't care as much as the next people. And that's why I think that's very bad, but sometimes beneficial, because when it comes to like the hate I got over the last 2 years and it was not light hate. Some of it was really heavy shit, and they still continue to try to do it. But it doesn't even make a dent. It doesn't penetrate me because it's too late. I have been desensitized. I was trained for that kind of a thing. I was literally trained from the age of 4 to take all the hate on my shoulders in this world. They train us. That's what it is. It's called bull baiting. They bull bait the shit out of a person. I've had thousands of hours of bull bait in my life. For some stranger on the internet to come on and try to cyberbully me is fucking laughable. It doesn't work. I don't break. It doesn't work that way. Now, I know there are other ex-Scientologists who struggle, hey, Power Lies, who struggle with and I don't want to speak for them, but I just know that there are other people who do have feelings and they are sensitive to things. Hey, Gary Mackey, why that didn't hit me, I don't know. But it may have a lot to do with the fact that I started bull baiting at the age of 4. I couldn't tell you when they did. And I was home alone most of the time from the age of 7 to 14. So like maybe that gap in time, we could sit here and it could be this, it could be that. I don't know. But I know that I am very, very desensitized to shit to the point where I still feel like a Scientologist in so many dark ass ways. Like if you said to me, you're not going to wake up tomorrow, I feel like I would go, okay. I'd probably act like Fred and go, I want to say my goodbyes. I'll start calling people up. I just don't have a lot of feeling toward, there's nothing that's that serious to me. Hey, Pat Kimbrell. That's what I was saying last night about these crazy trolls on the internet. Hey, American Maid. Hey, Baby Lily Pad. Like these, Roland, welcome in. These crazy psycho women, some of them are men, that are like obsessed with me. And they write dissertations on me every day. And they watch my channel every fucking day. And then they go take to the internet to write about it. I can't think of anything that I care about that much. Nothing. I mean that. That's what I mean by like my Scientology showing when I say this. I can't think of one motherfucker on planet Earth that I could obsess about. I don't know if you could pay me to do it. I don't know if you could literally pay me to go watch this person you hate for 2 hours a day. And I want you to go write up what you saw and tell everybody. And let's keep in mind that person's a stranger. Okay. And then I want you to write up every day what you think about them. I don't think I could do it for money. Like these people are fucking psychos. I don't know what it would take to get me to give a shit that much about anything. I don't care that much about anything. Nothing. Can't think of one thing where I'm that passionate about it, where I care that much and have that deep drive of emotion about something. I don't. Not a human. Like I said yesterday, I love Mexican food. I fucking love like some of my Mexican places in Kansas City that I miss. Chipotle, right? Like on a good day when the queso's good and they made it right. I can't think of one fucking thing where I'm like, I would protect that at all costs. It's the most important thing to me. Of course, yes, you're going, well, you have a child, right? My animals, right? Like at the top of my list would be my son, Tommy, and my animals. But I'm not obsessing. I still couldn't obsess over them. I'm not obsessing, right? I care deeply. I love them. But I still can't think of anything where I'm like, could take to the fucking internet and write up about it every day. That's why I don't have a drama channel. Can you imagine me obsessing like Marilyn obsessed about me for a year and a half? That woman, literally, I lived inside of her head. I might as well have moved in with her in Vermont because I lived in her head. Same with my haters on Reddit. Same with the fuck that guy guys. Those people were fucking crazy obsessed with me. I can't think of one person I've ever obsessed over like that. I don't know if that's because of Scientology. I'm just telling you that nothing is ever at the top of my list that high. I don't find anything to be that interesting or important, especially human beings. There's not one person I find that fucking important or interesting that I would hate them that deeply and type up stories about them every day. You're fucking crazy to do that. I would take my Scientology any day over the Jimenez and the Shannons and all those people who were obsessed with me. I would rather be me right here, right now than the embarrassment of writing about a total stranger on YouTube every day in Reddit. That's embarrassing. It's truly embarrassing. So I don't know what's wrong with me. And I don't know what my place is as far as motherhood at this point. I don't know where I stand on like where I'm at as a mom, but I feel distant from it. I feel like I have nothing. This is the problem. I don't have anything to compare to know. It's the same thing as having one child. I don't have a child to compare to as far as like the teenage years. It's not like I can say, well, Huxley's older brother was this way, or Huxley's older sister and I went through this too. I got nothing to go off of. And it's the same thing with parenting. I don't have a dad for him. His dad isn't in his life. And I don't have a lot of support as far as I got nothing, no memories of my parents being this way. I don't have any memories of being like, well, I treated my parents that way when I was a teenager. I didn't. I was a full-time adult working in an office 12 to 14 hours a day, smoking cigarettes and fucking an older man. Statutory rape. So I'm giving myself grace as we speak here because talking about it actually did help me today. This has helped me a lot. Hey, honey bun. I wish you could have been here through this. It would have been helpful, but I understand you have a lot going on. Hey, Sherry. I actually realized through processing this just in this hour and a half is that I've got a huge there's a disservice here, right? Because I don't like to blame anybody for my problems, but this is a problem. There's a huge gap here that's empty. There's no memories. I got nothing to compare to, right? I got nothing to compare to being a mom right here, right now. It's not like I have a ton of other female moms that I go and had play dates with and parties with. And I don't have that, right? I didn't have a mom. I was truly unmothered. And I don't have a lot of point of references here. So it actually does help me to say it out loud because I feel like I'm doing the best. Why are we being so busy? Why are you being a busybody, Susie Oberholtz? What's going on? Oh, he says I fell into a pond. Oh, Bojangles. That's so sad, Bobo. I'm sorry that you fell into a pond. You just ate a bone, didn't you? Okay. I think you do pretty damn well considering your upbringing. Well, Nancy, I love you, and I'm glad you came back in. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you for saying that. Ew, is that a booger from him? Gross. I can't agree with you on that, Nancy, and say I think I'm doing pretty good. Like, I don't know if I am. If I had to, I don't think I am. It's like your feelers were burned off. Yeah, I don't think I am. I think Huxley deserved to be. Wow, hey, looped tape. I haven't seen you in a long time. I think Huxley deserved to be raised in a much better, much more stable environment. I think I set horrible examples for him. And I don't think that I did that great of a job. And I'm worried because I've got about 15 months now before he turns 18. And I don't think I'm going to clean up this mess by then. I'm worried about his future. I'm worried about how he's going to be in the adult world. He is like me because I've set the example. I don't have a lot of friends. I do now, but they don't live around me. So like, I'm not I'm not like, hey, I'm going out with my girlfriends here. Or, hey, I'm going to do this. Hey, E. Garrett. Therefore, he doesn't have any friends. He doesn't really have like he's got some friends at school, but like he's just like me. He's a loner. And then my mom is the same way. My mom is a loner. My mom is a introvert. She intentionally doesn't have any friends. She's not a social person. And I think I'm that way too. I'm perfectly fine doing everything on my own. I do everything on my own. I don't feel like I'm a real codependent kind of gal, especially anymore. And so I'm not exactly setting good examples there for him because I want him to have more relationships socially, and he doesn't. And pretty soon he's going to not be a minor anymore. And my job will be done as far as what if he moves out, right? I know your job is never done as a mother, but I mean, he won't be under my care as much as he was as a child. And he wasn't under my care as a small child. I got no say in Huxley's life when he was little. I really, truly did not have a say. And I fucking hate it. And so now this is where we are at this is who he is now because of those circumstances. And I'm worried about it. I'm very, very worried about it. Original grandma, thank you for saying this because in my dysfunctional family, everything you're saying is everything I feel. See, this is very meaningful to me. I can't connect to anyone. So this is why I'm actually more glad that I talked about this today than beneficial wise for me, that I was hoping it would also help someone else to feel the same way. Thank you for saying that, original grandma. That's just for voicing that, for being open, because it makes me feel way less alone, kind of like what Mar Lugo said. Thank you for being a member also. But I mean, truly, this is mainly a group of women. And like I said, whether you've had a child physically, like you've birthed a child or not, I still consider you a mother. And I hope that doesn't offend you. But I just think women are maternal. You've been a mother to something. You might have mothered a friend. You might have mothered an animal. You might have mothered a relationship or a situation, but your maternal instincts are there. And you have done something to be a mom. And so I validate and consider all of you moms to something at some point. Our Uber is here, but thinking about you. I love you, Mar, and have a good evening, whatever you're doing. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the super chat. Hey, Anita, he's not committing crimes. He's not doing drugs. He's doing well in school. That says everything about you being a good mother. I appreciate that, Anita, and you're correct. He's not doing any of those things. Hey, Chris Crafts and Coffee. However, I'm not so sure, though, that he has very basic life skills. Like I said earlier, he doesn't cope well, right? He's not good at like some basic life skills. And so you're right. I am always thankful. I think about the things I'm grateful for all the time. Those are things I'm grateful for. The major things, right? Like he's not getting anybody pregnant. He's not doing drugs. He gets good grades. He goes to school, right? Like he's worked a job. He's saved his money. Hey, Linda Garden Lady. Of course, there are always positives to look for, and not just look for, but be incredibly grateful for. And I am, but that's not enough for me to go, see, I'm a good mom. He's not on drugs. Like I appreciate you saying that. I'm not discounting what you say, but it's not enough. It's not enough. I want to know that he's going to be okay. And I don't feel like I had a hand in that. Yorkie Mom, Pam, thank you so much. Guys, again, it's her birthday today. Thank you for gifting memberships. You are so big-hearted, Pam, and I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for doing that. People love getting memberships. I love you too. Thank you for being here, Miss Sunrise Dawn. Thank you for being a member. This generation, I think, for sure has that in common, Kim, coping issues. It's not, I agree with this. Yeah. It's not enough to just make yourself feel better and reframe it and be grateful. You have to mourn the loss. Yes. He sounds like a normal teenager. Well, I'm glad he sounds that way to you. Here's the thing. Maybe he isn't. I'm not saying he's not normal. I'm saying what he went through wasn't normal. There's really nothing wrong with Huxley. He's a great person. Like if I zoom out, in the grand scheme of things, I really, really, truly believe Huxley is a good, ethical person. He doesn't want to hurt anybody, and that's his character is intact. I'm not worried about that, right? When I meet a person like Aaron, right, I see the gleefulness. I see the excitement in his eyes, inflicting pain on other people. That's some dark shit right there where I'm like, your character is not intact, right? There's things about my character that's not intact. But by and large, I feel like, yeah, no. He's a great human being. We're good there. He's got a good foundation. He's a good fucking big-hearted person. But there's still a bunch of life skills that I I don't feel like I instilled in him because they weren't fucking instilled in me. I don't even know what those life skills are. That's what I mean. I feel like I'm running around going, I'm not doing something right here, but I don't know what it is. I feel like I'm in the dark about it. Motherhood is kind of me running around in the dark going like, what do I teach him? Right? Like this is, I talked about this in therapy the other day. I really, really, you're not going to like what I'm about to say. And Tommy certainly doesn't like when I say this. This is controversial. Get ready. You're going to feel one way or the other about this. I'll say the light thing first. I love, 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 love when especially women, but men or women say, like Liz, I chose not to have children. I don't know why. I admire the shit out of that decision. I just think it's amazing. And I just think it's strong. I like women who go, no, I chose not to. I did my own thing and I didn't want kids. There's something about that where I'm like, damn, it goes against the grain. I guess the reason, hey, Lacey, that's the reason I like that. It goes against the grain, right? What society pressures all of us to do. You got to get married. You got to go to college. You got to buy a house. You got to have kids. I like women who are like, nah, I didn't do any of that. Okay. The thing that's controversial, what I'm about to say is, I like that the birth rate is dropping. I like it because here's my thing. Yeah, kids are cute. And yeah, we're pressured to have them. And it's fun to be a mom and oh, a baby. But do people ever take into consideration like that thing's going to grow? That thing's going to get big. And then are you like prepared for all the fucking getting that thing to choose ethically, like morally, making it a responsible person, teaching? Are you prepared? Like you have enough, like I see people who have kids like me, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing having a kid? Like you can't get your own shit together. You know, you're broken in all kinds of ways. Like you have problems with reaching externally for validation left and right, right? Like me. Are you going to teach another human being that? Because that sucks. Are you going to teach them that they should reach from within and they should stand firm on in their beliefs? And are you prepared to raise a stable, good person? My guess is not really, because a lot of us refuse to even look at a therapist, right? How many people are like, oh, I don't need therapy. I'm not doing that. Well, you should consider it. If you're going to have kids, maybe you should consider it, right? Like, because it's one of those things. It's like, are you ready to be in a relationship or do you want are you just thirsty? Because that's how I look at that too. It's like, are you healed? Are you good here? Or do you just need a man? Because you're addicted to that, like I was, right? Like, are you just using that as a coping mechanism, as a crutch? Have you actually healed yourself? Like, are you good? Can you be single and do your own thing and support yourself? Or are you just trying to find a partner in life to kind of float along with? It's the same thing. It's like, you're really ready to raise a tiny baby up to adulthood and make it a good person and do the right things in life and successful. I don't know. Like that's it's a kind of a lifelong commitment kind of a thing. I love how people are like, let's go get a puppy. Okay, you ready for that? Like, you really ready for that? Or are you going to give up on it in 6 months and go, this thing won't stop pissing on the floor. I'm taking it back. You can't do that with kids though, right? And so there's pros and cons, but I think it's wild when people just jump into having 2 or 3 kids. And then it's like, you have your own mental health issues. You really should address those things because eventually those kids are going to look to you as the example of what a human is. And I'm not so sure that people think that through before they have kids. I know I didn't. I know I didn't. Okay. Guys, I'm going to blow my nose. Hold on. I'm not trying. I hope this is not this recent speech I just gave. Please don't. I hope that doesn't come off as judgmental. Like, I have my shit together. Do you? I don't. That's the point. And so when people are not having kids more, I think that's kind of a good thing because then that's less trauma and damage being done to children. They're going to grow up and be damaging and traumatic to other people. And I hate that. I really hate to see that. Linda Stokes, give yourself more grace. None of these things were under your control. Life skills come with time and experiencing life. Linda, I appreciate that, but it's hard. Like, that's so much easier said than done. I hear people say it all the time. Like, you couldn't have changed it. You wasn't your control. Give yourself grace. Those are beautiful pieces of wisdom. But for me to process and believe it is really hard because I am so stuck on what Scientology taught me, which is everything's your fault. Don't forget that. It's the facts of the matter. If anything bad happens in your life or even around your life, if your mom gets cancer, what did you do to pull that in that environment? Because you're not just responsible for you in Scientology, you're responsible for the people around you and your environment. And everything is supposed to go smooth. So it's hard for me to go, give yourself grace, Reese. You didn't have control over it. No, because I naturally blame myself and go, what the fuck did I do to pull that in? It's just a natural knee-jerk habit drilled into me reaction. And Linda, that's one of the biggest things I need to work on. And we should talk about that more on this channel. I really, really, really need your guys' help to try to unpack that and fucking unlearn that. Because I blame myself for being alone at 7. I really do. I'm like, well, I was, it's on me. No, it's not. I should have had parents there. And why I blame myself for shit at a young age. Wanda, yes and no. As far as I know, it wasn't that bad. But right now, the comment you just made makes it sound like it was horrible. I didn't think it was that bad, but maybe I'm wrong. Thank you, Linda. Thank you for your super chat and just how kind that comment was. Hey, Gary Mackey, pizza tax for Hux. That is really nice. We both love pizza. Thank you, Gary. That was very, very, very generous of you, my friend. Thank you for the big super chat. I appreciate you. So, that's my point too. It's like what Wanda just said. I don't think people really think it through before they jump into having kids, right? I think that everybody has been through trauma. And if you don't deal with your trauma as a mom or a dad or both of you, that shit naturally bleeds onto the kids. And then they grow up and you're their example. That's their example. Am I talking with my therapist about this? Yes and no. I avoid this topic altogether because I don't feel like I can find a solution to it. And I really only bring up topics here or in therapy that are solution oriented. And I find this one not having a solution because it's done. The damage is done. So it's like you're beating a dead horse. I'm like, this is a tough topic because there's nothing I can fucking do to fix it. And I'm a fixer. I want answers. I want to get to the bottom of stuff and I want to come up with solutions. And what are you doing there? Shamby. Good Lord. Shamby. Hi, Bubba. You should talk about passings because it will help your future. I just think that I get stuck in this weird, blaming cycle. I blame myself. I don't blame anybody else but me. Hey, that's an anthropology chair. I don't blame anybody else but me. But I get into this weird stuck phase where I'm like, why would I try to talk about this? Why bring it up even? I did the damage. It's done. Hey, Bigsy. Yeah, Bigsy, I agree. Hey, Joyce Drager. Thank you, Joyce. No one is perfect. We all have shortcomings. If we didn't, we wouldn't need God. I'll pray about this, and I hope you will too. Thank you, Abigail. I definitely will. Hey, man. Look how cute he is. That's an anthropology chair, Seamus. Hey. What a ridiculous child. Look how big he is. Seamus is a beast, man. He's beefy. Every child, of course, still needs their mom after 18. Absolutely. Yeah. Iwa. Teachable moments are about seeing that only can control reaction to others in oneself. If you are still on the teachable moment time, yes, I agree with that. The fact that you've been bringing this up to us makes me think that talking to your therapist about it would be helpful. I think so too. I'd really like to increase therapy. Where did he go? I'd like to increase therapy because, once I mean, those of you that are in therapy, you understand when it's an hour and it goes fast, man. I mean, once you get going, it's like, shit, I only got 20 minutes left. That's kind of what the last generation did. It's done. Get over it. It's not your fault, but it doesn't really work out that way. That's not how your brain. I agree. It's very, yeah. My mom is that generation for sure. Happy days. This is my mom. Let it go. Get over it. Now, that's not against her. A lot of people are that way, but I will tell you, nothing pisses me off more than people who say that. It's like, wow, I wish I would have thought of that. That is not a solution to anything. And it's super, I don't want to say disrespectful, maybe a disservice, but it's like, has that ever worked? Has it ever worked to say to somebody, calm down, right? Chill out. Like, it's very aggravating when people say that. Get over it. What the fuck kind of advice is that? Hey, Lilac Lime, that is such a bizarre thing to say to anybody. And also it's unfair because it's very dismissive, K-Space. I thought I heard Huxley. That's a great word, K-Space. It's a very, very, very dismissive. And Kim is Blue says, my mom does that too. I think it's of that generation. Not all of them, but I think it's of that generation for sure. For people to just be like, get over it. What a fucked up on so many levels thing to say. It's just hurtful. It doesn't help. It's harmful. It's harmful to say that. What helps me is remembering the past is gone. The future is not here yet. What matters is the now, the present moment. Learn from the past and live and love in each present moment going forward. I love that, Sherry Hicks. Yeah, Passenger Princess. What I might do, because we're going to wrap this up soon. Please, 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 if you're willing to be supportive, hit subscribe. A lot of you are not subscribed. If you have an account with YouTube, maybe you don't and you can't subscribe, but if you can, please hit subscribe. Take the time. Hit the like button. I would appreciate it. What I might do with Huxley, and this sounds crazy. Hey, Christy Anise, happy birthday to you too. It's you and Pam's birthday. Wow. Happy birthday, Christy. What I might practice with Huxley, and I know this sounds kind of nuts, but I might try like giving him a life situation, like just a made up one, you know what I mean? Just like a hypothetical, and see how he cope with it. Like see if I can watch him kind of work through the problem or help him to work through, not like give him a problem and be like, here's an obstacle thing. Now figure it out. Like, I would like to talk with him and go, now, what would you do in this scenario? Like, tell me what you would do here. That might be crazy and it might be a terrible idea. But what I see is that Huxley has, and I do too. I'm sorry, Molly Moon. Huxley has, problem solving. Kim is Blue. Like, he's got issues because he wants it now and he wants instant gratification and he's mad if he doesn't get it. I would like to work with him on, okay, now here's the goal. Here's where we're trying to get to. But here's all the problems that we have to work through to get to that. Like, what can we do to get to that? What would you do? Right? So that he can process it in his mind. And maybe that would help with the anger a little bit. Like, he gets angry. I don't know if angry is a word. He gets frustrated, right? That he can't have it now and he wants it now and he can't get from A to B that quickly. I wonder if giving him a bit of a mental obstacle course and going, nope, we can't do that because this is in the way. How do we get over this obstacle? How do we get over this hurdle to get to that one? I know that sounds almost as the word patronizing, but I don't mean it that way. I just mean it might be good for both of us to work out real life problems because, I mean, I do it too. Scientology didn't teach us, right? Didn't teach me, I didn't get those life skills. I got no fucking life skills as a child. I was literally probably mainly raised by George Carlin, right? Like but I turned out I'm here. I mean, I'm trying to be a better person, but it's just a matter of I wasn't taught those things. And I feel like he's lacking in those things. And it's kind of like he teaches me now about his stuff that he learns in American history. I got no idea of the history of anything on planet Earth. I thought the Holocaust was in the 1600s. I have no point of reference on wars or anything. I have no idea about geography, nothing, because they didn't teach us that in Scientology. So when it comes to that stuff, I am the dumbest person on planet Earth, and I admit to that. But he teaches me those things. Maybe I could sit down and go, what would you do in this scenario? How would you get through this problem? Right? Because I don't think school teaches life skills like that. I know it doesn't. Abigail says, closing, Lord, if you kept a record of wrongs, who, oh Lord, could ever survive? Oh, that's a good point. But you offer forgiveness that we might learn to fear you. His redemption overflows. Old Testament. Lovely, Abigail. I like that. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you for the scripture, Abigail. Original Grandma, I can't even express how much what you're saying validates everything I feel right now. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, because it helps me not beat myself up as much knowing I'm not the only one that feels this. That is exactly, oh, for sure, Debbie. He has a bank account. He has a bank card. And to be honest, I don't work with him as much on that. That's a job that my stepdad wanted. He asked me if he could teach Huxley how a bank account works. What's it called? Itemizing, like statements and writing checks. He's working with Huxley on all of that because he asked me if he could. So I said, yes, you can have that side of things. Original Grandma, this is huge. And once again, you shared this a second ago when you put up your membership thing. I just want to say, I feel you on a deep level, the connection here. And I want to say thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that, because I feel alone. I feel very alone. So even opening up and talking about this was not easy, because I felt not in here. I don't feel ever really judged in here, except for every once in a while a troll coming in. But I know for a fact the haters are always watching. And we know that now because they take and write dissertations about it, a whole thesis about every time. Hey, Haggis. So I know there's people watching right now and laughing and judging and cackling with their nefarious fucking maniacal bullshit. Those are just people who refuse to grow or have any kind of a life that's worth living. Yeah, Original Land, my stepdad is obviously a huge entrepreneur, and he owns many, many companies and has many, many employees. And he's always given me that life advice with budgeting and things like that. It's helped me a lot. One of the first things he ever said to me when I met him was, one of the most important things that will matter to you in your adult life, because I met him when I was 19, he said, will be your credit score. Protect it. And it matters very, very much. Always, always, always keep it high and protect and keep a good credit score. I had no idea what that meant, other than I was like, I know it's really important. I know it must be really important. So I've always maintained a very high credit score. I have a very, very high credit score, and I always have. So still don't even really know why that matters, but apparently it does. And so I did it. Yeah, Cindy G, I agree. That's okay. Yeah, Barbara Waite. And so I just want to say again to Grandma, tell me your name again. Original Grandma. I just want to say how much it meant to me and all of you. Mar Lugo was one of them, but she left. All of you who were willing to come down and kind of come to my level on this and go, I understand what you're saying. I can relate to that, because I'll be honest, opening up and talking about this stuff, I feel like an alien. I feel like most moms have their shit together. They know what they're doing. They've got, moms that are other friends, and, great marriages, and the really nice homes and whatever it is. But like, you've got what I mean by that in that nice home is like, you've got breakfast, lunch, and dinner on the table for your kids, and you mentor them and all of that. And so when I talk about this, that's what I imagine everybody else is thinking, is like, wow, Like you really are fucked up as a mom. So the people who say like this helps me or I'm willing to open up and talk about this, I appreciate that. I just want you to know that this is not an easy subject for me and I find most subjects easy. Like I'm not West Coast Fancy Nancy just sent me a text that she would like me to share. Please don't feel alone. My oldest daughter and I struggle. I love her deeply, yet when she was born, I had to go back to work when she was 6 weeks old. She bonded with my mom, who took care of her while I worked. Oh, wow. When my second daughter was born, I got to stay home with her. We bonded. I often feel guilty that I feel a different bond with her. Feel free to share. That's huge. That's huge. Hey, Miss Moonfire, thank you for saying that. Nancy, that's really big. And again, see, that helps me relate. But it's also the other side to this is for her to admit and open up and share that with us. Like this goes back to the beginning where I said, I think most parents, moms and dads, but hey, Bridge, but a lot of times moms have this weird fucking pressure of like, my children are my everything and I would do anything and my life doesn't matter and my husband's life doesn't matter. It's only my focus is my children and they're the loves of my life. It's over the fucking top and it's child worship. And I don't mind if you're that parent, but it makes me feel insufficient. It's like, I don't feel that way. Not all of us fucking bonded with our kids that way. Not all of us. And I'm not saying like, not all of us wanted kids. I wanted my son. I planned and prepared when I was ovulating. I wanted to get pregnant, but like I didn't get the opportunity to bond that way. And that puts pressure on me, I feel like, to go, well, that makes you a bad mom. If you wouldn't jump in front of a bus and he's not the love of your life and you're not just obsessed as fuck with him and a helicopter mom and involved in everything he's doing and taking him places and teaching him things and feeding him the right things, then you're a bad mom. You're a bad mom. Like that's basically, I feel like society, right? Is like, if you're not putting this person or these children first before your husband, your wife, your career, then you're a bad mom. That's not fucking true. That's not true. But I feel like everybody feels like they have to feel that way. Like, oh God, like I don't love my son if I don't admit to, like, no, that's not how everyone feels. And I appreciate West Coast Fancy Nancy sharing what she just shared. It doesn't make her any less. It makes her open and honest. And it makes the rest of us feel a little bit more like we can relate, right? Because I think people are afraid to admit things about themselves as a man or a woman, that we're just all supposed to feel this way. We're all supposed to do it this way. We're all supposed to have children or get married or buy a house or have a career or go to college. Like, there's this pressure. And I'm sorry, but that's just, that's not how all of us were born and raised. Right, Bridge. You have to put your fucking oxygen mask on first. I appreciate this conversation because I think everybody needs to hear it. We all did the best that we could, but there's no such thing as perfect or normal parents. Yes. Thank you again. Reese, with your Scientology background, who is essentially teaching you to be a robot, it's not realistic to expect that of yourself. I agree, Abigail, but and I definitely see what you're saying and I agree, but it's hard to admit to some of those things because especially being pushed out here into the real world now, I got to blend in with the rest of you. I got to act human like everybody else. I got to not stick out like a sore thumb. And sometimes that's hard. And I compare myself now to the normal human beings outside of Scientology. Whereas for the first 38 years of my life, I was the same as everyone else in Scientology. I was the same shitty parent, just like the other shitty parents. So it didn't really stick out. I don't feel like I was an alien. Now I'm out here and I'm like, yeah, okay, it shows. It shows. It's different. The climate's different out here. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to adjust from being a full-blown indoctrinated Scientologist and all the things that come with that, the teachings, to unlearning all of that in a short amount of time and trying to be like everybody else and fit in with the world. It's hard. And I want to fit in organically and I want it to be authentic, not like fake fit in. I agree, Just Marla. Hey, Heather, you're here for him and you finding ways, and that makes a good mom, Reese. You'll find most of us are the same. Thank you, Heather. And I'm happy to see you, girl. Thank you. Miss Moonfire, while I love my daughter, I'm just surprised that she is a good adult because, quite frankly, I can't keep a plant alive. She's a better mom than I ever was. That's a beautiful thing to say. I'm happy that you said that. And I'm glad that she turned out to be a wonderful person. I think that Huxley will also, in spite of his upbringing, I think Huxley will be, if he chooses to have kids or have a wife or a partner, I think he will be a great partner. I really do. I think that he will be a wonderful dad if that's the path he chooses. I do think he will be a well rounded adult, but that won't be because of me. That won't be because of his grandparents. That will be because of who he is and how strong of a human he is. It won't be because of me. I will never take credit for that. So, guys, I just want to say thank you for listening to this conversation. It was not an easy one to have, but it's been weighing on me. And we may talk about it even further because it's not a 2-hour conversation. I I feel like I'm at war with myself a lot in my own mind. That's why I titled this Internal War. It's an ongoing war for me that I feel like I did not do a good job as a mom. And so I think that's a conversation I'd like to continue to have as it comes up. You know, I can't force it, but as it comes up, and I can't do it day after day. It's like I can't talk about Scientology every day. It's too hard for me. It's too heavy for me. But as it comes up, I'd like to unpack this stuff with you and consider this a space that I can do that in because it's hard to talk about because I suppress it. Even in therapy, I don't talk about it. And I appreciate you listening to me, really hearing me on this and being vulnerable and opening up with me. It means a lot. These streams are the most important streams. I love laughing with you guys and the silly, goofy shit, but this stuff is the stuff that shapes who we are as humans, makes us all very real. Thank you, Abigail. You had more forces working against you being a mother than really anybody could cope with. That's true. It's hard for me to admit that because, again, I want to take responsibility and go, well, it's my fault. But you're right. I did. I had major forces working against me really since I was born. Scientology is a force that works against every aspect of what God gave you, right? You're born an original person. There's nobody like you. There's only one you on planet Earth. And Scientology does everything it can to work against that and mold you and shape you into being a soldier per L. Ron Hubbard, removing all of you and all of your originality. So it really is bigger than this. It's I'm fighting to be more human than not. I have to unlearn all of those weird things that my brain wired me to be. And I'm doing it just fine. I'm doing it every day. We come here. I'm holding myself accountable. I have a channel. I make my money doing it this way. And it's a beautiful thing. And I'm very, very grateful for that I can unpack here with 200 to 300 people a day sitting here holding my hand through whatever it is and listening to me, really listening to me, hearing me out and giving me your feedback. I appreciate that so much. I mean it. It means the world to me that you guys sit through this and listen to me and you hear me. So thank you. Thank you to the people who super chatted me tonight. That was huge. And I appreciate your support. It helps me in Huxley. I say that every night. I'm a single mom and it helps us out. So thank you. I never asked for it, but those that do it, I appreciate. Thank you for being a member. Thank you for giving memberships, Pam. Thank you so much. And happy birthday again to Christy, Anise, and Pam. I love that, Amy Knight. Thank you, Erica. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Alicia Johnson. I really appreciate you guys listening. To all the moms and dads that just listened to me tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will be back tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to hop over on the boat. Hey, Alicia, and hear what Tommy has to say. Again, if you would pray for him or send non-prayers. Tommy's having a procedure tomorrow on his heart in the morning. And so we're not going to do a Colts and Crims again tonight or this week because he's going to be in the hospital tomorrow night. Please just hope, well wishes, healing vibes, prayers if you got them for him. And I love you all. I will be back tomorrow afternoon and I'll give you an update on how his procedure went. But I love you guys. I mean it. Mods, thank you for being here and protecting us. I love you guys. I will see everyone tomorrow afternoon, guys. Here comes Fred.